I remember being that guy on that side, you know, just starting out, and you know, like you just got to keep at it and keep pounding and you know, till they see you and hear you, you know.
Yeah.
So
for young artists.
And then I wasted my last one.
Plastic Cell, here we are. OG Slick,
What's up?
the best, I can say the best booth here. So tell me about the concept and how you guys came up with this.
Well, it was all started in this NFT space. Last year,
Can't win if you don't play, people.
we invested in a Bored Ape,
Okay.
and my ape, the ape that I came up with, had actually an orange jumpsuit, and we just ran with it. You know, I just thought orange jumpsuit, prison, and so I did a mural of him, and then we did a bust of him, and then we made a toy. So once we knew the prison theme was a thing, everything else just kind of clicked into place. It was like click, 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 click. I was like, yeah. To me, it's not that creative. You know what I mean? Because once the prison thing was locked in, it was easy.
Yeah, but you're giving, I mean, you give everybody this experience. It's like,
Yeah.
you got the jumpsuits, you guys were walking through designer con, like prison guard. You've got prison guards, you've got tattoos, which, I mean, you get your own prison tattoo.
everything we're kind of offering is actually things that are actually from our past, or from, you know, like the guys actually tattooing, they've done years inside, you know? So it's pretty authentic. I mean, down to the spreads, you know, Big Tiny's doing the spreads, Big Sleep from the tats, Jay's from the tats. I mean, he did 4 years, another gentleman did 5 years. I mean, so it's just kind of crazy that, you know, they're out and all legit and super successful tattoo artists, and it's kind of cool just to put your foot back in for a little bit, and you know, give other people a taste of experience how it was. You know,
It's been very popular. I see this always lines out here.
yeah, we did try to keep it fun. We did the claw game, which is like a stuffed animal version of our ape, you know.
Yeah.
And even our toy, I feel like it's a far enough derivative from the Bored Ape. So whether people hate on the Bored Ape or they love the Bored Ape, it doesn't really matter, because we made our own thing called Primate 5506. And I never even gave him a name, because when you're in the system, you become a number.
Yeah.
So, you know, and so I hit upon a lot of issues that you know, on people taking it on different levels, you know, with dealing with incarceration, and, you know, being a number, and, you know, things of that nature. And still like trying to have fun with it, bring awareness, and, you know.
So does this mean that you're going to be into more of the toy game too, or just?
Yeah, because at one point last year, when crypto was hitting, you know, we were doing DeFi and everything, you know, me and my wife pretty much retired, you know, like we retired from the brand, we're killing it in crypto. So we're just like, dude, if this keeps up, I never have to work again, you know what I mean? Like we were already looking at properties in, like, you know, like on the bluffs, like in Palos Verdes and shit, like literally, you know, and then the rug got pulled out from it, you know, but we, you know, my wife is a smart cookie, you know, so she played it smart, so we didn't lose our ass, but we didn't make as much as we thought. But we're back at a point where she's like, you gotta go start making some toys again, you know, do something fun, you know. So we're here, we're at DCON, like, you know, so it's kind of, you know, I'm a firm believer of everything happens for a reason, and things are allowed to happen in your life. And, you know, let's say that DeFi shit did blow up for us, and, you know, like I said, I never really was hungry or found the need to even make things anymore. That would have been whack too, right?
Yeah.
So I felt like this would have never happened. So I always think everything happens for a reason, you know, and it brought me back down to DCON, and like I said, and this is a lot where it started. Like I see like emerging artists like coming up on this side, and it's exciting, you know, like, and they come up to me and they're like, oh, how'd you do it, whatever. And I remember being that guy on that side, you know, just starting out, and, you know, like, you just got to keep at it and keep pounding and, you know, till they see you and hear you, you know.
Yeah.
So
for young artists, because there's a lot of young artists that are like looking for a path, and for somebody who's like kind of you blazed your own trail. What kind of advice would you give?
That's always been my case. That's why I don't even have a bear brick, you know. And it's funny because I've been talking to Metacom for, I'd say, close to 30 years, over 20 years for sure. Going back and forth with them, and they didn't want me to do the LA hands because of the Disney thing, whatever. So I got tired at a certain point trying to get one, and I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna make my own shit, you know? I mean, there comes a point you gotta stop trying to fit in with everybody or what's cool and just do your own thing. And I've always done that, you know, like from all the clothing brands I've done, it wasn't because I was trying to bandwagon shit. It was because at that time I found there was a void and I needed to do that. I wanted something for me and my peoples to rock and wear, you know? And they should do the same shit. Like, they shouldn't copy what we're doing. Be them, do their own shit, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, I mean, that's the best advice, is just do you and keep doing you until they see you. You know what I mean? Like, you know?
Yeah. Could you tell us a little bit of the story behind the hands?
The hands? The first time I painted the hands was probably in the 90s or maybe 2000. I did it on one of my characters at Belmont Tunnel throwing up the LA, and it wasn't Mickey Mouse. It was like a little gangster, like rat character, like cholo character, and but because Mickey's the most famous character with cartoon hands, everybody right away is like, oh, those are Mickey hands. Yeah. So right away when we were doing the brand, my wife and I trademarked them, which everybody got surprised because they're like, what, Disney let you trademark it? And I was like, well, our argument to Disney was, well, everybody has gloved hands. I mean, down to like Bugs Bunny to, we were clowning even like Hamburger Helper. I mean, like Bart's, you know, what is that, Krusty the Clown, and you know what I mean? Everybody uses gloves, so I think Disney recognized that's an uphill battle too, and we actually registered it in the LA form this year, right? Yeah. So I mean, we don't own all glove hands, but if anyone wants to fuck with the cartoon hands like this, that's us, you know? Even Disney don't fuck with us, you know? They actually tried to put a little block when we tried to renew it, but I think their attorneys kind of looked at it and, you know, I mean, when it comes to the ears and stuff like that, they get really protective, you know, in the clothing, but gloves are gloves, yeah. Especially in the LA. LA is LA all day, you know? Yeah. So.
Well, thank you so much. Good luck with the rest of the time.
Thank you. And then.
All right.
Enjoy.
All right, thank you.
We're going to change it up a little bit now. We're going to look at some illustration. We've got Peter Hahn style over here. Peter's got tremendous experience with illustration. And what's interesting about him is all the different mediums that he uses and how he places his illustrations. So let's go over and have a chat to him. This first book goes the first one, probably about 2 or 3 more books that covers the entirety of the story. Travel that adventure. I have many different ideas, but we'll see how far I go with it. Yeah, so everything here is kind of related to the same storyline. And I work with these guys plus myself as a sculptor. Hey, Gene.
What's up from New Zealand?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Just if it's cool, we can ask a couple of questions about your work. And,
sure, man.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, let's start with what you've got there. What are you customizing your hat there?
Yeah, so I got a customer coming in, a client that asks for a lot of commission work like this. So they'll bring things sometimes like shoes once in a while, a lot of different kind of hats. And I do a lot of like custom art where it's not really necessarily a specific subject matter. They say go at it, and so I just kind of draw and sketch things I like. Sometimes like creatures and animals, other times like shapes and forms. But this one in particular has like dragons and fish and stuff on it. Yeah. Using just a brush pen, and it's a permanent ink, so it sits in there. And water resistant. So yeah, a lot of custom work.
So I mean, there's a great flow that's going on with there. So when you're approaching something, so a lot of artists that do illustration, they're starting with basic shapes and building it up. But you've got you just go straight in and you're in that final line work.
Absolutely.
So what's your thought process when you're approaching something like that?
Well, I mean, it doesn't start here.
Yeah.
It starts based on what you had also just talked about, the idea of shape and form.
Yeah.
So of course, every artist should train in that fundamental of being able to see through the actual surface level information and detail, and see the underlying form of the shape that constructs it together. But there's a lot of openness and interpretation to that. What kind of shapes and forms do you see? And so it's not about then necessarily a copy of something, it's your interpretation to that. And that gives you then the confidence to be able to play with it, adjust it, manipulate it. And then when you start to put the top layer information on top, then it becomes more realized to the things you want to go for stylistically. But again, it goes into that area first. But for myself, I've done it for so many hours, countless hundreds of thousands of drawings, that I'm already able to visualize that through my mind, that I don't have to necessarily plan it on there.
Yeah.
So it's all mindless practice.
You've got like that kind of X-ray vision when you're applying.
way,
You can see it in there already,
But I
right?
tell people it's like the Matrix.
Yes.
You see the code.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what stands out for me personally is just the flow that you get in, like the sense of movement, and that really helps the eye to move like across the image. So and you're taken through the whole journey. That's so.
Yeah. I think part of that is, people tend to focus so much on the singular item, a human being, an animal, or vehicle. But a difficult part in being able to bring it all together, spatially, but also scale-wise too, can be much more difficult to also move things in space. But that's why that form language becomes so incredibly important, to be able to actually negotiate that aspect of space, of scale, of detail, all the things, balance. You gotta think simply at first.
Yeah.
Because it's so overwhelming.
It's there's a lot in there, especially with all the detail that's in there. But what really stands out for me is how well you're considering all the negative space that you're putting in there as well. So it's not what you're putting down; it's what you're not putting down. Yeah.
I consider that to be the mastership level of draftsmanship. What do you not draw?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And then that makes a standout image for me. When you look at like great comic book art, it's the negative space is really powerful. Like,
But that's the thing. It's like, it doesn't mean that I don't struggle with this still.
Yeah.
I still do. I make mistakes all the time, and I can put something in there that I realized I wasn't supposed to do that. I was just kind of moving and flowing, and I catch myself like, oh, I kind of overworked it. But there's also ways of adapting. There's also ways of actually using it for your positive result. So I don't see it as a negative aspect, but you learn from it.
So we're talking happy accidents?
Oh, absolutely. But that's the thing. It's like, it's a mindset change also.
Yeah.
Because sometimes a lot of people only see it as something that is a mistake. You have to throw it away and start over again.
Yeah.
And it becomes this heavy pressure when now drawing becomes an anxious thing. You don't want to approach it anymore. Every time you sit down, it becomes a nervous reaction. But for me, drawing and sketching should be something that gives to you. It encourages you to do more.
Yeah, drawing the problems out, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And we're talking about comic book art here, and obviously you've got some amazing characters here that you've developed, and this is your own original character as well.
Yeah. Made in 2014, which is why some of the dates on here are 14, 15. So these are some older pieces, which have now generational kind of growth, where something like this is from the recent last year. So, but they're all interconnected together. Concept of a storyline, which is just started up as a simple drawing. From a single drawing, germinated an entire line of products. Play masks to comics to prints and stickers. Everything starts off with just a basic idea, but inspired by interests of things that I like. I don't go in there with the plan of I gotta make a book, or I gotta make a shoe thing, or I gotta make this or that. It starts off with something I just enjoy doing on my own. So if I don't enjoy doing it for myself, nobody else would enjoy it.
So obviously, I mean, there's a lot of mythology and a lot of culture built into this as well. So you're drawing from a lot of sources. Yeah. And then just your interpretation of it as well. It's fantastic. But I also noticed, something I noticed as a New Zealander, is you're wearing pounamu as well, which is, so I wanted to find out where you got that from.
I visited New Zealand, Christchurch in 2011. After my mentor's passing in 2010, I wanted to just travel and get out there a little bit. And so I went out there and I met a friend online on Facebook who reached out to me saying, I love what you do in teaching. And he was a tattoo artist. His name is Mana, and he's Tongan, but he lives in Christchurch. And so I went out there to go visit him and his family. I knocked at his door, and he's like, I'm here. So I stayed with him in 10 days. During the daytime, I would drive around Christchurch, went down to Akaroa, and that's where I found this piece, and he was able to also gift it to me. And then from there, at nighttime, I'll teach him how to draw. On the very last day of that trip, he tattooed my chest here.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. It's so traditional, so I definitely noticed that because it's definitely, when I see that, it's connected to New Zealand.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
And you'll now really understand the mana underneath it, right?
Oh yeah. So, of course, none of this stuff I designed or chose or anything like that. It was built on a relationship with people that I knew as tattoo artists, and they got to know my story, who I was, and they chose the shapes. And of course, I'm being very aware of the fact that there are certain elements of things I would never touch.
Yeah.
And these are more just base kind of like elements of interpretation of, storylines that they can use for someone who is not part of the culture. Yeah. But I also respect it so much, especially Polynesian culture, from the Maori to Tongans and Samoans and Fijians. They have such incredible connection to nature, which is why I love it so much. So when I traveled over there, and meeting a friend like that, and a trade of skill happened, I gave him one thing, he gave me something else. That's something I really appreciate. I have a connection between people and cultures too. So I went back in 2017, and that's where I was doing workshops and classes. I went to go visit up in Auckland. So I had a lot of friends out there as well too. So it's one of my favorite places to visit. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. He's obviously seen a lot of New Zealand. You should check it out. It's amazing. Just doing a little tourism ad for it. But I had one last question for you as well. If you were in a battle to the death and you had to choose one of your characters to defend you, which one would you choose and why?
Honestly, it probably would be one of the gods over here. The blacksmith is the main character, but he's just human. And in a lot of ways, he kind of stumbles through the success of things. And that is also a bit of the shocking aspect that he doesn't realize that he has a lot of power behind him. It's not just him, there's a lot of support behind him. But it's also because of characters like this.
Yeah.
So in my storyline, I have the 4 winds, which are the 4 gods in my story. Each one represents a north, south, east, and west, which is an element of power and also an animal. And so this one here is a god, or the wind of the east, who's a dragon, and also part of the nature too. So yeah, a lot of powerful characters in my storyline.
Yeah, so obviously you're picking one of those ones, you'd be safe, they'd save you straight away.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Peter. It's been really insightful to know more about your craft and also about your trip to New Zealand. So thanks very much for lovely to meet you.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you. Yeah.
Plastic. So we're with one of our favorite artists, Lando.
What up, y'all?
And
Next door.
Yep. And this is kind of cool because we've interviewed you like pretty much every year that we've been doing this.
Yeah.
And when we started, it's like the little booth with just the 2 of you sitting there, and now you have like the grand booth with like awesome graphics everywhere. You want to tell us a little bit about what you're doing here?
Well, I decided to brand the series a little bit more on the character universe and just kind of get people immersed so when they walk in, they're kind of interested in what's going on. And now there's some space to get acclimated, I guess, into what I'm doing. But I allowed them to check out and be even up close without having a block, have them feel separated from the case where they can actually feel like they can touch it without touching it. Yeah, touch it, but
When I think when we first started talking, you had just started the Urkelbot.
yeah.
And now you branched out into some.
One of the series.
Yeah.
This was all like movie, TV-based characters in a video game anime setting. So I actually created whole move sets, video game-based, card collectibles, different price ranges for different things so they can get involved and feel comfortable that what they're getting is still high quality.
Yeah. So what's next? What are you working on? I see here you've got a John Wick.
Yeah, so he's one of the 9 characters in this particular series. The series is called VHS. It's called Very High Score, part of the series. But the storyline is called Out of Time, and it's based around the Junior Flex character. Kind of like a crash setting where all their stories kind of intertwine, but they're all in a tournament setting, purpose for their own goal to get to a certain boss that's kind of oppressing them in a sense. Something easy to follow, nothing too crazy, so they can not worry about the story too much and get involved with the characters. But then another series is based around different types of martial artists, both fiction and reality based. This is more figure based, the next one could be more comic related or NFT based, like something where anyone can get interested in. So that's where I'm at right now.
So how much time does it take from like the initial concept to the development to where you're actually holding a figure?
So the concept is old. It's something I started thinking about in junior high school. That's why I wrote on the, I don't have it, but it says 1996 to 2022 is how long this idea has been cooking. But I never had an outlet to actually pursue it until I got into the whole Comic-Con base with friends over there in like 2008.
Okay.
And then when I got into the industry around 2015 is when I started deciding to take this route to more of a selective niche that I like to collect myself, to also produce, but then add my own personality to it and simplify some things, stylize it, texturize it. It's like something for everybody.
Nice. So all these artists that are watching this, they're coming up, they're trying to make. What advice do you have for them?
Just think it through during this time for sure. Like take your steps, manage your time well. Try not to be absorbed by outside opinions too much, but do take those opinions to help build or solidify your goal. Ask questions, try not to do it all by yourself because I love to like eliminate some processes if someone's already experienced it. That way I can put my focus towards something else.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
Appreciate it.
It's always great conning with you.
All right, we get to flip the script here a little bit, and you're going to get interviewed by me. We've actually interviewed each other before, so this is interesting. This is like flipped over.
It's definitely flipped over.
It's flipped over. All right, so this is Sean here, aka Goreilla, and we've got this fantastic piece that he's created here. So just walk us through this. Like, it's obviously there's quite a lot going on here. Like,
Yeah. So the show is Game Over, or Out of Order is the show. It's all about like video games and things not working. So my thought was, I had to take 2 different video games, plunge them together, and I thought, you know what? When there's movies like Conan, I think about The Graduate, and there's this like, you know, they finally get the thing they want, and then they realize like it's not really what they wanted. So I thought it'd be fun to have like, you know, Donkey Kong actually beats Mario. Mario's not around anymore. He's actually destroyed Mario's whole world, and here's Donkey Kong, king of the world, and he's sad because he misses his buddy. He's got nobody else, no nemesis, nobody to kind of go up against it. So I wanted to kind of bring that all together, and I wanted to bring the nostalgia of Nintendo, because for me, you know, I wasn't even allowed to play this Nintendo, but it was the thing that, like, you know, you went over to a friend's house and it was an experience, and so I wanted to kind of put all that experience together and tell a story. So that's kind of where this came from.
Yeah, and you've really done that. Like, you've got a really nice expression here. You can really see the remorse there, and it's one of those classic rivalries. You know, it's like kind of a Roadrunner and Coyote. You know, like it's really it's a conflict, but one doesn't exist without the other, right? It's like two sides of the coin.
Yeah.
And you can see that you got poor old Mario here. He's all he's bit the dust, and then you got the remorse there. It's heavy.
Yeah, and it was hard to kind of play around with the idea of Mario. You know, if Mario's dead, you know, so much of his features are like his hat, his mustache, and so I thought it'd be funny to say like, oh, the mustache was part of him. You know, it's like Wolverine. You take away the adamantium claws, and there's still the claws there. So that's what I thought. You know,
you must have had to do quite a bit of sourcing for these parts as well, because they're not easy to get anymore, right?
No,
Like,
I lost, I think, 2 or 3 eBay bids on this. So like I would sit on this, you know, they'd say, oh, Nintendo system, $5. I'm like, perfect. So, you know, I put my $5, $10 up, and it would sit for a month. And then right at the end, all these people would come in, boom, 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 and all of a sudden it's up to $80, and I'd lose the bids on it. It was rough.
So you've got the controllers here for the throne, you've got the cartridge from Donkey Kong.
Yeah, well, here's the funny thing is, I was eBaying for the controllers as well, and then a friend of mine's like, you know, they're for sale again on Amazon. So I was able to buy the controllers for the newer Nintendo system, which is like, you know, this little tiny one that's got like all the games on it. So I was able to get those, and then this was actually a friend of mine's. I got an old cassette. It's not Donkey Kong, so if anybody ever tries to play it, it's gonna be some dinosaur game. But my wife was cool enough to help me turn the graphic into a new sticker.
All right, so there's like, we got sourcing stuff, we got new stuff, we got old stuff, and then in the end we got something really contemporary and brand new.
Yep.
Yeah. Fantastic. Oh, well, thanks for talking me through that. It's awesome. Like, I really love how you managed to frame that as well, because the eye line just hits Mario.
That's always. I think putting everything together is one of my favorite parts about doing art. Is like having that story and trying to give people an experience. So like, it's not the one-off look. You like look at it. You could pull more and more pieces as you kind of work around. So.
Yeah.
It's always
fantastic,
fun.
and it's got like, this is all part of it, right?
Now this is part of the experience of the art show. Jane Dope, who's Carmen Acosta, she's over here. Her concept was that, you know, this should feel like an arcade. And so she's got all these tickets, which we threw out the other day to try and get this like experience of like being in the arcade, and you're like, this is your end goal, is to get as many tickets as you can.
Yeah.
So
awesome. It's fantastic pieces in here. We don't have enough time to show all of them, but there's some great stuff here. Really inventive, really creative, and just an awesome show. Really.
Yeah, it is really great stuff. All right.
Thanks, man.
Thank
that
you.
was awesome. Yeah.
All right.
We go way back.
Yeah. All right. So we are here with Jane Dope to talk about the art show that's always the place to be. Tell me a little bit about how you got involved in this.
I did an art show at DCON 2017 called Meat Street, and it was hip hop and puppets. And after that, Ben from DCON asked me to curate the DCON art show. And that's been going on for 5 years. We did Jurassic Park, Back to the Future, Many Voices of Hamill, Mark Hamill. What am I missing? Gold-timey cartoon.
Gold-timey cartoon was last
And
time.
there's one more.
And then this one.
And this one.
Game Over.
Out of Order.
Out of Order. I always want to say Game Over. But yeah, and this was a great show. It's got a lot of really fun stuff. What, can you tell us the theme exactly? It was like.
So basically, the theme of the entire con is arcade games, but I took it a little bit a step further and asked the artists to take 2 games and match them up. So something is slightly out of order. That's what we went with.
And so we had a lot of really fun takes on how that works,
yeah, or like Diego's piece is out of order because it's broken, and there's vines taking over in this really beautiful way. So it was really up to your own interpretation. He didn't mash up two games, but
Well, and you had like, this was one of those shows where like people were using all sorts of stuff. Like one of my favorites was the sand.
oh,
Yeah,
and
sand
that's
piece.
gone now.
Oh, it is?
yeah,
Oh,
sold
yeah.
and took it. So.
Yeah, so the people were using sand. We had cross stitch.
Cross stitch.
There was people printing on metal.
Yep.
Of course, there's a few toys here and there, and then a lot of traditional stuff too.
Yeah.
So
And
it's,
you can't forget balloon ski, which is
Oh.
a nice addition to the show.
that was awesome watching him tie those things together, and it's not just like a balloon tied together, but he's like tying balloons inside a balloon,
Yes.
which blew my mind.
And also, like, I worried because I can't sell his art, you know, it's like a temporary piece of art. And he's like, well, I'll do it for trade for a booth. So we got him a booth, connected him with more people see his work.
Oh, and it was such a great photo op too.
Yeah.
That and having the tickets.
tickets.
Yeah, we took some pictures of Quinn hitting the
Yeah,
tickets.
it's great.
Yeah, they were so much fun. Well, thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
hopping with
I
us.
love you so much. You're the best.
All right,
Thanks, guys.
thank you.
Yeah, oh no.
You see this one? This was my favorite. This one's so cool.
Way back when.
Yeah, this guy has he's got a gallery in Riverside, and his stuff looks a lot like this, but it reminds me of Morpheus?
Mobius.
Mobius.
Yeah,
Yes. All right, it's Goreilla here, and I'm here with Miyo. Now, you've been doing DesignerCon for a number of years, correct? Yeah, I think we started when it was in Pasadena. I think you were there.
Yeah, we were there.
So tell me a little bit about what you're doing, and tell me how's the con been treating you?
It's been great. I'm a special effects artist, and for fun, I started making little toys. And so this year, I'm just here to promote my toy line, but I also made hand-casted, hand-painted versions of my toys, like original paint jobs. And then, yeah, just doing...
No, it's great.
Yeah.
Tell me about this guy.
This guy, I've loved Captain EO since I was really little. And do you remember Captain?
Oh, I remember
yeah,
Captain EO,
Disneyland,
yeah.
like it's a 3D and he comes flying out of the screen. And I always wanted to grab him, but I never could. So I wanted to make a version of him where I can actually touch him. He's posable. I sculpted the head and hands and feet, and then I like hand laid the hair on, and then I made the wings are posable as well, and they're flocked, so they're soft and fuzzy.
That's awesome. So is this like a ball joint or is it wire?
It's jointed. It's like the nylon joints.
Okay.
Yeah. So
That is amazing. And then the flocking, how did you do that?
just coating the surface and then putting the powder down, and then I airbrush the design.
And is this mohair or what kind of hair do
It's
you
just like synthetic, like fun fur.
And how do you do that? Do you just like lay down glue and then?
Just
Wow.
lay the fur down, and then I airbrush the colors on.
It's so beautiful. It's such a great little piece. Now, how's the con changed for you since you've been doing it?
It feels good. In Pasadena, it felt a little bit more intimate.
Yeah.
But Anaheim's fun too. It feels more. The number of artists here is amazing. Like this, yeah, it's just really cool to be able to interact with all these artists that you know, but you don't have all the opportunities to meet all the time. So yeah, it's been really cool. Yeah, and I've been very lucky that like people that follow me on social media come and say hi to me. Like and seeing their face light up, seeing my pieces, it just makes me so happy. So,
Well,
yeah.
it's so great to see your work progress over the last years, and thank you so much for talking.
Thank you. I hope that was okay.
Always wonderful. Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right, have a great time.
Bye.
So obviously you're Gazetsu, that's your artist name. All right, so I'm Wachuptu from New Zealand. Nice to meet you. So tell me about like what you're doing here.
Basically, I'm an interior sculptor. I do a lot of food art on top of like anime fan art. Lately, I've been getting into 3D sculpting and based off of me and my insomnia and my food obsessions.
Yeah. So this is like a self-portrait of you. Yeah. Tell me a little bit more about that. Like, how did that come about?
Basically, I used to be a chef, and growing up, I always had insomnia. So the nights where I couldn't sleep, I would just think about food all day or all night. And eventually, I thought I might as well just try to make something of it. So I started drawing them. So these are like local foods or foods I've eaten, foods I want to eat. And then eventually I thought, hey, I did the 2D version. I made merch from that. Why not make a 3D version of it? Test myself as an artist. Yeah, I started making them.
It's a really nice way to turn something that was kind of like a little bit negative into a positive, right? So it's like leaning on your art and like using it as a bit of a self-therapy and
trying to make the best of the situation.
Yeah, it turns out amazing. What a really random question for you. Okay, if you were in a fight to the death, do you think that this character would be able to defend you? And if so, how would he do it?
He wouldn't be able to defend.
He wouldn't be able to defend you.
He'd be out before me. He's already out.
He's already out cold, right? So he's because he's right in the middle. He's experiencing insomnia, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much. So he's almost like let go. He's almost in between sort of being asleep and being awake, right?
Yeah.
So you'd be gone.
Yeah, I'd be done. There's no saving.
Who else could defend you here, though? Would there be another anime character that you would chuck in and say?
Probably Zoro from One Piece.
Yeah.
He's like one of the strongest members of in the anime. So.
Yeah. Dude's got 3 swords. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Excellent. Hey, well, thanks so much for sharing your process and a little bit about it. It's great to meet you, and it's the New Zealand perspective as well. So awesome. Thank you very much. Cool.
So here we are with Space Boy, Andrew.
Hi.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
How's DesignerCon treating you this time?
It's been good. It was the first time.
First time?
So it was a good experience, and I learned a lot.
Nice. How did you find out about DesignerCon? Have you been coming for years?
I spent a lot of money here just coming here as well.
Nice. And so you've got a lot of the pin game going on. You've hit like a lot of really good markets. So how have you been selling? Tell me a little bit about this guy.
So this is Space Boy. Actually, it's a character I've been working on for about like a year and a half. Okay. And he kind of comes from literally nostalgia of everything I grew up on. So Toonami and all the cartoons.
Oh, yeah.
And then when you go down the wormhole of everything that Toonami shows you. So like I did that and kind of created him from everything from my childhood and kind of played with that. It started off as just a drawing that I was doing for fun. And then I created a 3D model on the iPad, on Nomad Sculpt. And my buddy was like, "You want to print it?" And I was like, "Yeah." And now we're here.
Nice. And you got a lot of colorways going? And...
Yeah. So he's got 3 main colorways. He's got his main color scheme. And then he's got the shinies, because we gotta have the shinies of everything. And then he's got the black and white tunes, because I want to pay homage to all the retro cartoons that I like to watch.
Nice. I'm really impressed with your booth setup too. You got a lot of a good colorway going and a good theme. And
I've only done one before this, and that one everything was a little more leveled. And I kind of started thinking about like, I don't know why, but it's a theme park concept of like how levels of stuff. So I wanted to try my best at doing that, having levels around. And then I've got this facing up because I noticed no one like looking down at the table. Yeah. So it was all kind of experimenting, and I'm glad it actually came together.
Nice. And what's your next step with Space Boy? Are we gonna see comic books?
So the next step, actually, if you look behind, I've got jackets. I'm actually wearing one. So the next step is to get more into clothing.
Clothing.
Because I want it to be more of a brand. So like this one right here is more of his logo. And although right now it's very pin and toy heavy, I want the next wave to be more jackets. I've got beanies and hats and a shirt that I'm working on.
Awesome.
So hopefully I can get more into that area. And then I kind of made these little minis, and I realized they look like candy. So I'm gonna try and figure out how to make candy, because I think he looks like he should be a gummy.
Oh yeah. They're just so cute. You want to eat them up.
Exactly.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks
Good
for
luck.
stopping by, man.
All right.
Thank you.
Have a nice one. Here we are with the DesignerCon first. This is Adam Hathorn.
Hey, what's up, bud?
And this is his first time at DesignerCon. So
First time.
how are you enjoying it?
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super cool. I've been selling some weird shit, and it's been fun.
So how does this compare? Because I know that you do a lot of of tattoo conventions. How does this compare to a tattoo convention?
It's cool because I'm not having a tattoo.
Huh.
I'm just sitting here talking shit, meeting people, meeting all kinds of people that like I've been following forever, that are like internet friends that are now real life friends. So it's cool.
That's awesome.
And meeting all kinds of people, random people coming around buying weird shit.
Tell me, how did you get into like the clothing prints and things like that?
I started doing it because my wife wanted some wallpaper. So we looked at designs. We couldn't find something we exactly wanted. I said, I'll try and figure it out. So I figured out how to do some patterns. And then I was just like, what else can I put these patterns on? And I, put it on cocaine pajamas, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or bandanas and silk scarves, all that kind of shit.
And so this year you have a toy that you're working on?
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about that.
Oh, I wish Mike was here to tell you because my buddy Mike Bonanno sculpted this. But that's all I can really tell you. I don't really know. It's just like a prototype for a possible future toy. Boop.
And this
But
one
I know nothing about it. Yes, I drew it.
Okay.
So I painted it a long time ago, and then I tattooed my buddy Mikey, and he was sitting there, and I think he saw the painting there, and he's like, "Can I turn that into a toy?" And I said, "I would. What kind of asshole would I be to say no?"
Yeah.
You know. So he did it, and this is it. I just got to see it the other day. Finally, and I'm stoked.
Now, are you going to be putting these off in like just random colors? Or are you going to paint one up, or how's it
I
going
know
to work?
nothing.
Nothing.
I'm a noob.
All right.
Like the noobiest noob of the toy world ever. But we're probably gonna do. I mean, I imagine we're gonna paint a bunch of different ones. We're gonna try and do it whatever. I'm gonna do whatever the world wants me to do.
Nice.
But yeah, it's super sick. I'm stoked to do these.
Well, thank you so much.
No problem.
It's so
Lovely
good
seeing you again,
yes.
sir.
Yeah.
Should we do hugs?
Yes.
Let's do hugs. Lovely seeing you, bud.
Sounds good.
Thanks for
Thank you.
having me on your YouTube show.
The custom cars, all of these cars from our childhood, basically, right? So we've got
the Pizza Planet truck from Toy Story.
Toy Story,
Which only appears like really briefly in the movie as well.
Yeah.
And someone's gone to all of the trouble of sculpting everything and making sure all of the things are legit. Like
the vinyl seats,
you got everything. The toys are even in the
there.
seat.
Yeah, you can totally see them.
Yeah,
And they've got pizzas in there with the keys too.
yeah.
So, it's awesome.
Storytelling right there.
Can't have a plastic cell interview without getting into the Ninja Turtle. Ninja Turtle, the VW bus from hell, basically.
Yeah.
Like actually the sewer.
The detail is crazy. Like just the windows have done it on the opposite side. They've even got the armor. That's the door that comes open, and the Ninja Turtles can come out. And then I even see they've got a shredder hanging on the revision up there as well.
Yeah, and it's a nice little pun up here with the foot stink.
Foot stinks, man.
Oh, and we got one of the old school plastic cell modelers. This is Fed Up Toys. Josh here. How's it going, guys?
What's going on, man?
All right, so this is Josh. He is the king of Godzilla nuggets. Tell us about these.
So, I smoke a lot of weed for one. And a lot of ideas come to me, and Gojira was one of those. It was Godzilla, which I'm a huge fan of, or Gojira, and Ganjira. So I put it together, and this is actually the premiere of my Safubi. So this is actually a vinyl toy. He's 7.5 inches tall, and he'll be dropping out. I'll have like regular colorways, probably the start of next year. And then the thing that I've been happy about was like watching, you guys over there do the digital sculpting. I've been picking up digital sculpting and making my California Blazins characters. And this one was my Halloween one. It's got like Hash is what I call him.
Nice.
He's got his chainsaw and boomstick. And then, I do.
Well, and you started off making like hand sculpted stuff. And
Yeah.
doing a lot of the casting.
And it's weird, I don't have any hand sculpted stuff here today. It's all been digital.
Yeah.
So that's a big jump for me.
Well, and it's really seemed to up your game because you're able to do like large pieces and then scale them down to like these tiny little pieces.
Yeah, the thing I like though, I don't sculpt big. It's hard for me to sculpt big. So what I do is I'll sculpt smaller, and then you can scan the item and make it bigger.
Yeah.
So I'll still sculpt in the 4-inch to 5-inch, maybe 6-inch range, but you can still, there's ways now you can scan those and go big, small, whatever you want. So that's kind of the direction I've been going.
And the detail you're getting, I mean, I don't know if you guys can see this, but the detail on these guys is just unbelievable. Not to mention, is this your self-portrait?
This was done by Ryan B. Soto.
Oh, nice.
So I gave him a 3D print of, Ganjira for it was called Seed to Sensei. It was last 420. I had about 30 artists in the show, and this is the piece he came out with. And he was like, "It's not for sale," because I was like, "How much is it?" And he was like, "I was like, I don't care. How much?" He's like, "No, it's for you." And I finally got it yesterday. But this is my favorite. I'm a proud papa now. I love this thing.
Beautiful.
He got it all correct.
And the likenesses.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He got the
spot
correctness
on.
I like. So yeah. I mean, this is, like I said, Ryan B. Soto. He's an amazing artist, and he's still doing a lot of traditional stuff. Hand sculpting, and he's killing it. He goes big. He does everything. He's a freaking amazing artist.
Well, I just love to watch how much your work has grown and what you're able to produce now is just awesome.
Yeah, it's a crazy thing. It's been 8 years, and you could literally just go back into my Instagram and just see the progression and how far I've come in those 8 years. I mean, shoot, like you said, I was never doing digital. Now I'm doing digital.
Okay, so what would be your advice for somebody like me that's always been hand sculpting, not really getting into digital? What are some first steps I should be taking?
So for me, I did with digital, I had ZBrush. I had the whole package from work. They gave it to me. They gave me all these tutorials. It's a harder one to learn.
Okay.
I looked for something that was more, I'm not computer savvy, so I was looking at I was like something friendly. I looked at Nomad. It's a $15 app. You can do it on your phone and you can do it on an iPad. You have your stylist and you can just sit there and create. What I did, I dedicated 35 to an hour every night on YouTube, watching tutorials and just playing with the tools. I went down and just played with each tool to see what it did, and you kind of pick them up quick.
Yep.
I did it for a month solid, and I created about 30 different Nug characters, and that's why they all kind of have this aesthetic. I was learning the whole time, just one a day. I had to practice one a day, and just keep with it, and don't give up. I mean, shit.
That bad boy down for you?
This guy right here is the one who really pushed me into doing digital, or else it would take me 2 weeks to sculpt something like this. I did it in digital in like 2 hours, 3 hours. And then the good thing about that is if you own a printer, you go over, you put it on the printer, you go to sleep, you wake up in the morning, and there's your sculpture like this. It's the craziest feeling to know. So I stick with it, give it a chance, don't give up. Take some time to actually learn it, watch videos, and YouTube is the best thing for it. Every video you can think of, someone's done it on YouTube. So,
thank you so much for your time.
Hey,
Hope the
thank
rest
you.
of your con's great.
Thank you, man. You guys have a great one. Listen,
All right.
I hope you guys have a good one.
All right, see you later. Thank you.
The DesignerCon 2022. I'm just going to go and check out Mike FX, Client Nuggets, and Ryan B. Soto's booth, and we're going to ask them some questions. All right, so follow me. We're going to go this way. So, obviously, Mike's a bit of a local legend. He's worked in prosthetics and in film. He's also appeared in horror movies as well, underneath the makeup. He's got some amazing sculptures, really high quality, detailed stuff. So we're going to have a little chat to him, and hopefully we can steal Kind Nuggets and Ryan as well, and talk to them as well. All right, so just follow me. We're going to go around here. What Mike's got here is he's got magnets. He's got the Icky Mouse, which is brand new for the show as well. He's got blanks and he's got individual painted sculpts. We've also got ceramics as well. So Mike's really experienced across a broad range of things. So some of the stuff here is amazing. So let's see if we can steal him. Hey Mike, short interview.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. All right, so I'm Gene Wachupti from New Zealand.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Mike. So tell us a little bit about your work. You've got some new pieces for this show. Is there anything you want to highlight or talk about?
Well, the newest piece for this show is the Icky Mickey or the Dead Mouse or the Manky Mouse. We couldn't really decide on a name. It seemed kind of appropriate to do since we're in Anaheim, but it's kind of based off of a zombie figure that I did, and we made it a mouse.
Yeah. So what's really amazing with this sort of stuff is just the amount of detail and texture in each individual one. So they're all standalone pieces, right?
Yeah, I mean they're all the base figure that comes out of the mold, and then my buddy Gary, or Hollywood Assassin on Instagram, customizes each one and does basically a custom paint job on each one.
Yeah. So some of the highlights, we've got like some eyeballs in this one here, and this one have a jaw. And
yes.
Yeah.
This is our homage to Dr. Tongue in Day of the Dead.
Yeah.
This one has an arm off. He's, I don't know, saving it for a snack for later.
He's missing an eye there as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So these are amazing. So the detail and the amount of time that you guys take for this as well. So these are really one-of-a-kind pieces, which is amazing.
We're not actually finished.
All right, you want to tell us a little bit about this character over here? Apparently, you've got a bit of a history with this one, right?
Yeah, it's Chandler from the movie Hellraiser. I started working on the Hellraiser series around part 4, and I've worked on 4 through 10. And I've actually played the Chandler character starting with, I think, Hellraiser 5, and the only one I'm not playing Chandler in is Hellraiser 9.
So, I mean, it's one thing to work on the makeup, what's it like being underneath it?
I'm gonna wrap that up.
It's hot and sweaty, but I enjoy it. It's fun.
Yeah, yeah. And you've got a ritual and you get into character? Like, how would you get into character for someone like that?
There isn't a ritual. I'm a fan, so I have sort of an innate sense of what I think the character is, and hopefully I've done it justice. I mean, the character was started by Nick Vince in the first 2 films, and hopefully I've carried forward the legacy.
Awesome. One other thing I wanted to highlight as well is your ceramic work.
Yeah, I do a bit of ceramics.
Where's all my TV fans?
Voice from the sky.
Make some noise, TV fans. We want to hear you.
So,
there you go. That's right. We want to remind you of the join us at the Soto stage, where we present the next generation of our music. Here's the blue. That's 1, 2, 10.
Alright, yeah, so one thing I wanted to highlight was your ceramics.
Sure.
So tell us a little bit about the process for this.
Well, I think about 3 years ago or so, like I don't have enough hobbies, I decided to take up ceramics. It's inspired by a bunch of people that do it on Instagram. And I kind of chose slip casting because it entails a lot of techniques I already do, sculpting, mold making. It was really just a matter of figuring out the... Cool. So it was really just a matter of figuring out the firing and the glazing process, because I kind of already have the sculpting, the mold making down. And yeah, it's kind of a nice relaxing hobby in addition to all the other stuff that I do and the day job and all that. But it's fun. I enjoy it, and people seem to like it.
All right, awesome. I've got one more question for you.
Sure.
If you were marooned on a desert island and you had to take 3 things with you, what 3 things would you take and why? Yeah.
Well, are we ruling out all the practical things like food and water and
we'll rule all that out.
maybe a cell phone?
Yeah. Stuff to get saved. Yeah, but
does it have to be toy related?
It doesn't have to be. It can be anything.
I mean, I don't know. Just I mean, it might be cool to have like some clay and sculpting tools, or at least clay, because then I can kind of keep busy with stuff.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's any toys. I mean, movies. I definitely miss the movies. I'd love to be able to. I don't know, like. Do I get Wi-Fi or cell phone?
Sure, let's say you get all
because I can then watch movies and sculpt. You said food's taken care of, so I can. I don't know, all the coconuts you want to eat or something. Fish.
It sounds like a bit of a nirvana, so you wouldn't actually want to be rescued after that.
Yeah, it sounds weird. I'd probably still just want to sculpt and make stuff and big sand castles that look like creatures or something.
Oh, wow. Awesome. Awesome. Thanks, Mike. It's been awesome learning about your process, so thanks for sharing the time.
Awesome. Hey, thanks for visiting.
Cool. Thank you.
Have a good show.
See ya. Have a look at Kind Nugget's work just over here. So he's got some really cool stuff to show. Here's the man himself, right? Gene, what you up to?
What you up to? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
How you guys doing?
Great,
doing?
Fantastic. Now, so some of this stuff has been really popular. This design con. Can you tell us a little bit about your mandrakes and your process?
All right, so these guys are the mandrakes here. Basically started off with, I got one of these pots. My wife was into gnomes, so I was gonna sculpt one of these gnomes coming out of the pot. And then I just started blobbing clay around. A mandrake came out of that, and it was actually popular, so I kind of just kept doing them just because I need a lot of attention, and I was getting it, and that's kind of an easy way of going about it. So I just kept making them. And then me and my buddy Mike here, we got stuck at a convention, CurioCon, not to besmirch any other conventions, but it was terrible. So we just spent the whole time sculpting these pieces, and then we decided to do one every single week for about a year. 52 weeks, we probably made it to about 30, 35, something like that. And each one was unique. So this one is actually one of those, one of the unique one a week kind of deals. And then ever since then, it's just too much work to do individual ones once a week. So these are all kind of new designs here. These are all coming out of molds. There's 9 different ones. I've sold out of a few, so you can't see them all here. But again, I went small, mainly because I can't do math. I meant to order this size pot. I got this size pot instead, and then I just kind of figured it out from there. So I got all of these guys come out here, as you can see. Again, some of them packing a little bit more heat, but they all are resin. They're all pretty sturdy guys, and I try to make every single one totally different. This is a designer con thing. I kind of do it for this show, but the other stuff I do is kind of more along the lines of what Ryan B. Soto does here, a little kind of crazy type of sculpture. This is me and Ryan's new piece here. So me and Ryan kind of worked on this together here. Okay, so we debuted it here for this show. We're gonna have another short run for Monster Palooza later in the year, and then we might do a short online order as well. So maybe. Depends on if Ryan's feeling frisky there. But anyways, this is our multiple years doing this show. One of my first experiences doing art was coming to this show, thinking it was like a fashion thing. And again, one of my buddies had t-shirts here, so I just wanted to check that out. Met this guy, changed my life. I've been doing art ever since, and kind of never stopped. And this show is one of those things. You see all kinds of guys. In fact, I met this guy there too. Literally one of the first people I met at DesignerCon. And right away he told me, use alcohol on Super Sculpey. Blew my mind, changed everything. So I didn't even know that. So anyways, this is a place to learn things. This is a place to meet people. This is a place to see brilliant stuff that you don't really see anywhere else. And it's all inspiring, and it's all stuff that you want to make, stuff you'll never make, but you appreciate, stuff that just kind of gets all that art juice going and flowing. And it always kind of, I leave it here wanting to just make stuff. And again, just kind of, super motivated. So DesignerCon is the place to be if you guys are ever around Anaheim, Southern California, and get the opportunity to show up. It's life-changing. Changed my life, made me want to do art, and that's I've been doing it ever since. So thank you guys. So.
Oh, awesome. That's a tremendous segue into...
Sorry, that was one question. Sorry.
That was one question. Oh my God. Yeah. I had 3 for you, but you're not getting any more. No, all right, let's meet Ryan. So this is a little bit of cheating because Ryan and I know each other quite well. So hi.
I've heard of you.
Yeah. What up to from New Zealand. So Ryan, tell us a little bit about your work and what you've got here on display.
Well, I kind of started off, I love Mario, who doesn't, right? Love the game Mortal Shell, and I kind of incorporated the two, made this kind of Plague Doctor Shy Guy. Based off of this, I wanted to keep it rolling. I don't even have any turtles. But I created this castle, $20 castle for Michael's. Cut up a bunch of foam, glued it on, and painted it up. But this is just a start, I plan on having my own Bowser and Mario next year, so I'm gonna keep the series going. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, and
it's fun.
This castle, this is something a little bit out of the norm for you as well, right? So you're tackling new materials.
I mean, seeing what you did with Deep, I gave you using the foliage, creating a whole diorama based around the head. That inspired me to do this. I planned on mossing up the castle too, but I ran out of time.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Awesome. You've also got some other 3D molds here that you're also painting as well. Can you tell us like a little bit about the process for this one? This is quite
So this is a kit by Randy Lambert. It's beautifully sculpted, well cast, super clean, everything. I love it.
Let me know if you have any questions.
Try to give it an outfit I would wear.
What's that? 15
Yeah, that's pretty much it on that one. But yeah, I love painting other people's stuff. I mean, the detail on
This is 150. It's about our last
is
one.
absolutely
We got
beautiful.
2 more down here unfinished. I was gonna try to wrap them up.
It's just fun, you know. I want to paint it all.
So me and Ryan did it together, but yeah.
So for this one, like you're using like quite a few washes to get those details to pop out.
Yeah, this all started with the flesh color base. Base.
Yeah, I'll bubble wrap these. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Bubble wrap. Yeah, I don't need the box if.
So these are all the washes I use for this. Maybe not all the colors.
By the way,
but
this is
Citadel.
Citadel, yeah. They got contrast paints and shades.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah.
I absolutely love them. This guy got me started using them, and I haven't put them down ever since. Yeah, it's pretty much.
Cool. All right, we've got one more question for you. So, on your bucket list, is there one country that you'd like to travel to next?
I gotta say New Zealand, man.
There we go. There we go. Awesome. Thanks very much.
I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. Everything you say about it.
I'm the salesperson for it. So yeah. So, hey, well, thanks so much for showing us your work and talking us through your process. It's been awesome.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, remember we did the
Peter's ready. We're cleaning up a little bit. They'll announce it, and then I gotta help them clean up, and then we'll back up and go. We gotta go over and pick up stuff from.
I woke up like, now at the end of the day.
What happened to your?
That worked out well.